Hey, I'm Viktor Thorup, and a week ago this happened. I got silver at the Winter Olympics in speed skating. For me, that's incredible, but for my country, Denmark, it's also insane. It's our first ever individual medal at the Winter Olympics, the second ever at all. And it means the world to me, and I've received massive support here on YouTube and basically every social media and in the whole country. And I get so many questions as to what went through your mind throughout this race. So in this video, I am just gonna take you through the whole race. To me, watching this, I watched it for the first time when I record this. It's pretty insane, and it's almost like it's still a dream, but I'm gonna try and put some words on it. What happened, why I did the things I did, and what went through my mind as I somehow managed to grab this guy at the Winter Olympics. So let's just fast forward to it. I'll be there in the comment section, so you can ask me all the questions you may have. And if you want to know more things, and if I don't have the chance to get back to you, you'll find me on ONLYFANS, and I will answer every single comment and also message there. So don't hold back on that. But for now, let's just get to the race. I'm gonna watch it here with you guys and let you know what I think and what I thought as it happened. Let's just click play. So first thing to know is that in the semifinal, I did not feel great. I've been sick the whole week leading up to this race, which is why I barely made it to the final. I think I realized also that in that semifinal, I went out strong, hoping to get away, hoping to use my strength, which is more of the endurance and not the top speed. But I ended up doing that against Jorrit Bergsma, the Dutch skater that in a few laps here, we will go in a breakaway together. And I think we realized in that semifinal where we finished 7th and 8th that we should probably skate together instead of against each other, because we do have the same strength, that long range diesel engine endurance. And if this came down to a sprint, I knew that he knew he wouldn't have a chance. So instead, I let him play the first move here, and I know he doesn't have the best acceleration, neither do I. So I felt comfortable I'd easily be able to follow him if or when he went for a break. Another thing I had in mind was also that so few countries had 2 skaters in the final. So a lot of the strong skaters here would not have a teammate. The only ones that I could think of where they would maybe have a teammate working for them would be France and Belgium. Their teammates are Indra Medard and Mathieu Belloir. They're much more of the 1500 middle distance type of skaters. They would not have the strength to close a gap if we went for it. And then the final person that had a teammate is Jorrit Bergsma. So when he here accelerates at a pretty gentle pace, I knew there would be a good chance that if we got a gap, there would be no one to chase that gap. And the people that had the strength to do it, they wouldn't want to spend it, because then there would be other people with more energy in the end and they could beat them. Also, I knew the moment would be great because the person in the lead was Jordan Stoltz. Jordan Stoltz was going into this race, I think, the big favorite because he has more top speed, and he also just won the 1000 meter and 500 meter at these Olympics. So when we went for that, he was in the front, and everyone would be looking to him because they would be thinking, how do we beat Jordan Stoltz? Well, we need to get him tired, and if he is in the front, hopefully he's gonna chase that. Now, that didn't happen, and what we see here is that Bart Swings, reigning Olympic champion, he tried to make a move to get that pace up. And at this point, it doesn't look super good for us because Giovannini also took a strong lead here. But this is what things change, or when things change. He pulls out, and there is no immediate person to take another lead. Even though Bart has his teammate Indra Medard here, putting some solid pace in, you can see now that there is not that mutual agreement, kind of like, all right, we take a lap each. On the other hand, meanwhile, out in the front here, Jorrit and I had a perfect partnership. He immediately, as he had gotten us up to speed, he did a little finger move on the back of his, behind him, showing like, take the next lead. He did that just before the point sprint. And just to give you an idea, if you get these point sprint in that position, that would be a 5th place at the Olympic Games. So the fact that he basically gave that to me showed me that, okay, he's also in this for the win, for the long run. So I decided to give some really strong pulls here. And from this moment, we just had a perfect connection there. We did not exchange a single word before, during, after we did, but before and during this race, we just had that finger thing on the back, every single lap showing like, all right, now you take a turn. I I did not think too much about how far ahead, what's happening. The World Cup before these Olympics, I finished 4th and I missed the podium by a 1/10 of a second in a very similar scenario. So this time I didn't speculate too much. I didn't see, are we far, are we not? I just knew, all right, we got to do our best here. And it's up to them if they want to or if they can chase us down. And as you can see here, it's more of these like small punches from the whole pack instead of, you know, like a nice feel of working together. The perfect race for all these guys. Of course, I think Indra here is doing a good job for his caps and barred swings. And it is France and Belgium. They are the teams that, you know, have these teammates that should be able to. I think here, Mathieu Billoir instead goes for that one sprint point, kind of secures him what ends up being a top 8. To some countries, that means massive financial funding, being top 8 at the Olympics, instead of just taking that lead. And here we have Stein, your teammate, going up here, just setting a chill pace, allowing us to get even more space. At this time, we're more than halfway, but trust me, these people, the fastest sprinters here, are super fresh. And out front, we're not pacing it. We're not pacing it to do a final sprint. We're pacing this to get a big gap, meaning that if you've seen World Cups before, big races like this, they catch an enormous amount at the end, because when they unleash their sprint, they can do laps down to 22 seconds per lap, and we're probably skating 27s here. So they will catch 5 seconds per lap, which could be 2 full laps. So they immediately catch 10 seconds. That's why you need a huge gap if you do an effort like Jordan and I do here. Now, all this time, there was really not a lot of like strategy between Jordan and I think. I knew going into this race that the last 4 or 5 times Jordan and I had been head to head, I managed to beat him. I also knew I'd been sick for a full week and I crashed the day before, and I did not feel at my best, to be honest, which is crazy to say when you just won an Olympic medal. So I didn't really know if I would be stronger or not. Jordan and I skated against each other at the World Cup before. I managed to get ahead of him in the Masstart and the 5K. We did also have a 3K test race just before the first race at the Olympics, where I also managed to beat him by a 1.5 seconds, I think. So I knew in terms of speed and endurance, on a good day, I could win the Olympics. But I also knew that Jord is a man of experience, and he had really been doing some great races at the games. And to be fully honest, I also felt deep inside that if I medal at the Olympics, that will be amazing. I only have 1 World Cup medal to my name, also a silver medal. So I knew that this, regardless of the outcome, first or second, would be the performance of my career so far. So here I actually noted that Jord slowed down a little. He took 2 leads where I felt the speed decrease. And that also made me think like, oh, is he either planning something or is he tired? But I did not have the energy, I think the strength mentally to even observe like, are we safe, are we not? And this is where Jord took an easy lead. He calculated it and he put an attack in here. And honestly, I think the video speaks for itself that he was the strongest man on the day. He was the smartest man on the day. And I think he deserved that gold medal. I'm just really happy that we had the same strategy here and that we worked together so well that both of us ended up leaving Milano-Cortina with medals around our neck. And here, I think when I took that last lead, after I felt like Jord slowed down a little, I didn't even have the nerve to look across the rink to see how far ahead are we. When I felt that he slowed down, I just managed to like, all right, what is the pace I can keep for 4 laps here? So no matter what happens, we will make it to the finish line. And I mean, I think this pace that Jord puts down here, whether I had taken it a little easier or not, I don't think I could have followed that because he was really hitting the gas pedal. And here all I'm focusing on is just skate as well as you can. Do not look back. I have been asked so many times, when did you know that it was happening? And it's really just this last straightaway. I look ahead, I see Jord celebrating. It's like, okay, we're safe. And I can't hear anything from behind. And I can hear people like cheering as like, not let go, but more like you did it kind of. And then I just knew, and I put my arms in the air, and this feeling of like, did it really just happen? And I was so happy. And looking out, like the stage was just set perfectly. I get goosebumps when I talk about it. You can tell that I'm happy here. But imagine that first lap after achieving a thing you'd been dreaming of your whole life. I don't know if I ever dared like fully think like it's gonna happen, but you see your wife, she was my coach, Sophia. I look up, I see the chairman of my inline skating club back in Denmark. I see my parents, Ari Labello, some of my best friend, Kimani, the US blade tech that had been one of the main people cheering me up after I missed out on the World Cup medal. And this feeling of just so much joy. I mean, I've skated a million good and a million bad races, but this happening on this one day felt like, I don't know, I was just so grateful. And yeah, overwhelmed with joy, and just went over to my parents. They threw down a Danish flag that I did victory laps with, together with Jord and Andrea that got third. And yeah, it was just surreal. At this moment, it was just, I didn't have any specific feelings. I think I was just so happy. I don't know if it was relief, but whatever it felt, it was like, it finally happened. And it wasn't even such specific thoughts about it's the Olympics. It was just that massive reward for, you know, everything I'd done my whole life. And I've been to the Olympics before. I had good Olympics, bad Olympics. I love skating because I love the sport, but I also know that my life is gonna change now. And I mean, you can see here, just hugging Sophia, knowing that this is as much hers as mine. She's right there. And oh, yeah, look at that. Unreal. Seeing like what this made, how much joy that gave people in the stands. And that was the thing I realized the week after coming back to Denmark, that the entire country knows who I am, and the entire country is so happy on my behalf. It's priceless. And yeah, I think it's just sinking in here. Freaking incredible. I don't know, I was just shaking inside and just so dang happy. Some of the questions I received, like, ask me any questions you guys can think of, but no, Jordan and I did not talk. I didn't even plan this strategy. I went through a bunch of different scenarios the day before. Which ones am I more likely to come out with a thing around my neck in? Which scenarios are not in my favor? But even if it comes down to those, what would I do? But on the day of racing, I never think about strategies. I never talk about strategy, because I think the most important thing, I know I'm not the oldest one out there, but I've skated so many Masstarts. I've skated since the first Masstart we ever had in the sport in 2014. I've been racing just about every one. I think I may have done, except maybe Bergson, more finals than almost anyone. So I think I can really go with my intuition. Growing up in inlines is just so, that is one thing that's very natural for me when skating. So I try to not think too much about it and just go with whatever feels right. And this felt right, and obviously it turned out to be right. So no, did not chat with anyone before or after that whole day. I mean, before. I family chatted with a lot of journalists after. Yeah, the thing on my nose, I should touch base on that. That thing is a thing called intake. I have used that, I think, for 4 years, overnight and in all my workouts. It's pretty wild. It's basically a nasal band, as you see most athletes. If you watch the video there, I think there are 3 other skaters just in the Olympic final wearing the same brand. I tried nasal bands or nasal strips. Never really liked it. I feel like either kind of like didn't pull enough or would just slide off. So that's a brand I work with, and now just develop some even better kind of like stickers that you put on here, and then you attach that clip on the outside. I'll leave a link below. Should give you the best discount they have. I negotiate a little with them if they would give me a discount code, because I know so many people are interested, and they did. So you can use that, or a link, I think, below. And that just attaches, so you put a little like kind of plastic nasal band on there, and that attaches to the stickers, and then because that is strong plastic, it won't collapse, and it'll just keep them open. And that airflow just makes me calmer. It lowers my heart rate for the same effort. Don't snore at night, and yeah, just get better at all my workouts. So that's the thing I've been using, and that's why I used it at the Olympics as well. It's just like all the other races, if you've been following me. So that's the thing I would definitely recommend people. I don't know if it's gonna win you an Olympic medal, but just in everyday life, it's kind of pretty sweet. So check that out. Also check out my OnlyFans channel. I post a bunch of videos there. And then just leave a comment if you have questions, or if there's anything you want to see in my next video. And then I hope you'll subscribe, because yeah, I know this was one of a kind experience, but I hope there'll be more adventures, Olympic or outside the Olympics, until I'm there in 2030, that you guys want to follow. See y'all.